NASCAR star Bubba Wallace proves the doubters wrong. Bubba Wallace will be in a 2311 car in the NASCAR Cup Series for the foreseeable future. And in this video, we are going to be talking about a ton of things that are happening in the world of NASCAR right now. I don't know if you've noticed right now, but it's pretty crazy. And it's not just NASCAR that is popping off and going bonkers right now. It's F1, it's IndyCar, and more. So if you haven't already, be sure to go down below and subscribe so you don't miss a minute of this drama, and let YouTube know that you want more of this content. That's the best way to do it. The second best way is to hit that like button as well. So, while it is a Bubba Wallace video, we do have some Kyle Busch drama, and it is that Kyle Busch took a shot at NASCAR on Twitter yesterday, accusing the poor social media manager of having a weekly negative scheduled tweet about Kyle Busch. The ratio is pretty good, but it doesn't change the fact that Kyle Busch has yet to sign a ride for 2023. And seeing as Bubba Wallace has now signed with 2311 Racing, the options are beginning to be quite limited for Kyle Busch. That's one Toyota team that he could possibly have gone to off of the board now. And it seems, as reported by Door Bumper Clear, that Kyle Busch will not return to Joe Gibbs Racing in 2023. Those talks have fallen apart. As you guys know, if you watched my video yesterday, Kimi Raikkonen, the 2007 Formula One World Champion, was testing a NASCAR Next-Gen car yesterday at Virginia International Raceway. As I'm sure you guys have already seen, right? You watched the video yesterday. I hope you have. If you haven't, watch it, because it also gives you a great sense of the drivers who have scored a world championship and also raced at the top level of NASCAR. Now, Team Trackhouse actually was able to interview Kimi, and here's a clip of him describing what took place yesterday. Now, this isn't the full interview. That full interview can be found on the Trackhouse Racing Twitter account. Here's Kimi.
I don't know. I don't have anything to compare, but I think it was nice to get some laps, and even it's not exactly the same car that we're gonna race, but I think it was very beneficial to just put laps and have some fun and know what the car is somewhat doing. So do longer runs and find out. So I'm sure it's a bit easier to go in the practice come the race day.
So the NASCAR report on Facebook is reporting that the grandstands at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana are beginning to be torn down. Now, this is a very sad day for fans of super speedways over 2 miles in length, because at the end of the day, you will have, when Fontana is turned into a short track as it is scheduled to be, beginning after the final race on the super speedway next year, you will have Pocono, Michigan, Daytona, Talladega, and Indianapolis as tracks in the United States that are 2 miles in length or over. And I just want to say this because I'm not a fan of this move whatsoever. Fontana, first of all, is just a historic track in general. It's the fastest racetrack ever. It has the closed course record with Gilles de Ferran in a Honda-powered kart IndyCar at 241 miles per hour. Some of the racing has just been fast and furious and exciting at Auto Club. And frankly, this country is full of short tracks. And I understand that it seems like short track racing is becoming the new normal. And it was the old normal, to be fair, for stock car racing for so long. But it disappoints me quite a bit to see a big super speedway, a different type of track, going away. And I understand kind of the reasons why. Like, at the end of the day, California land is very expensive to maintain, and it is there are continual offers to buy California land. I think that's part of the reason, or that is the reason, why the Ontario Motor Speedway, which was a copy of Indianapolis, went away. But, if you really need a short track in California, why not restore Irwindale? I don't know why Auto Club, Fontana, California Speedway, whatever you want to call it, has to pay the price for NASCAR's kind of shift in what they think. Honestly, I said this when it was first announced, my opinion is that what they're actually trying to do with Auto Club in Fontana is have a short track in California as the season finale. I think they are experimenting with that with the Clash at the Coliseum, and I think that's kind of the test market for what they will eventually be doing with Fontana. Remember this place, I'll put it that way. Remember this place and remember where you heard it first. But the reason you probably clicked on this video is Bubba Wallace. And after weeks of speculation and questions about whether or not Bubba Wallace would have a place at 23XI Racing next year, it was announced today that Bubba Wallace has signed a multi-year deal with Denny Hamlin and Michael Jordan's 23XI Racing. Now, what does multi-year deal mean? Typically, and I say typically because we have such contract drama these days, typically when you hear the words multi-year, it means 2 years guaranteed plus a third year as an option either for the team or the driver. Probably in this case, it's for the team. So Bubba Wallace is locked in for 2 years at 23XI Racing at least. And for sure, I would think as long as he performs adequately, he will get a third year with 23XI Racing on this current contract. And Bubba actually did have a pretty funny tweet. As you know, the contract drama is piping hot right now. And this is what Bubba said on Twitter. It has come to my attention that the rumors have been circulating about a potential multi-year extension with 23XI Racing and I. I'd just like to be the first to address those rumors are completely true. Let's go. So, it was hard to avoid a lot of the talk about whether or not Bubba Wallace would be in this car next year. And certainly he's underperformed a little bit. And I think when you look at Tyler Reddick being signed to that team and potentially being outside of Richard Childress Racing as soon as next year, and think about, okay, well, maybe 23XI goes to 3 cars, or maybe they go to 2. Well, they still might go to 2 because I wonder how much Kurt Busch had to do with this, because Kurt Busch is still out with concussion-like symptoms, and I do wonder whether or not he will call it a career pretty soon, whether that's that at the end of this season, maybe the end of next season. But I think there was a possibility at one point that maybe 23XI could or would go to 3 cars, and they may well still do that. But as of right now, it's Bubba Wallace and Kurt Busch at that team, but I would not be surprised to see Tyler Reddick there as well. But I think a lot of people thought that Tyler Reddick might have been a sign that Bubba Wallace would be on the hot seat. Well, as of recently, Bubba Wallace has been getting top 5 finishes. He scored a pole position at Michigan. Maybe could have won that race. And you look into the stretch run, Daytona, he could get in the playoffs with a win. And I think Daytona would exactly be the type of track that he could do that. But I think the top 5 at Indianapolis is another thing to point at and look at and say, hey, he almost won, or didn't win, but he got a top 5 in Indianapolis. So, there's probably an outside chance that he could do pretty well at Watkins Glen, though it has to be said that Watkins Glen typically isn't as crazy of a race as Indianapolis and the road course there usually is. But I thought the Michigan performance that Bubba had, that sealed the deal. When you can get a pole position, when you can dominate the race, even though you didn't seal the deal, certainly Bubba Wallace is very, very hard on himself, very introspective, and it came out in the post-race pressers and interviews, and I think that's what Denny Hamlin likes about him. I think if Denny Hamlin had a choice of a driver, it would be someone who's hard on himself, because that ultimately will make him a better racer and driver. And hopefully this works out. I think Bubba has certainly room to grow in NASCAR. I'm not denying that. I think he could be a winner, but he's got to start having consistent result. He's got to start winning consistently. Obviously, he won in the rain-shortened race at Talladega last year, but you got to do more than win on plate tracks to keep your job in NASCAR. And he's got 2 years at least to do it, and I guess we'll see if he's able to. What do you think about all of this? There went over a lot in this video, a lot to talk about. That's what's so fun about this last kind of 40, 50 days. There's been a lot to talk about. And again, I hope you're subscribed because when it breaks, we'll be talking about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.